Hello. Okay, so EnVyUs versus Luminosity. So Luminosity got trounced on last week by enemy that was largely considered a upset. Maybe they could rebound. We will see. EnVyUs, I think they've done pretty well for themselves so far. I believe at this point they have not lost a game, so we'll see. Mid laners are being bound on both sides. These are definitely the top two mid laners right now. Isis, like I'm gonna keep saying it, she's powerful early game, she's powerful late game all the time. Janus is just really annoying. I mean, like he has a lot of mobility. He can save his friends. He can, save himself. Capri can also save himself as well as his friends. Luminosity just does not want EnVyUs to, save their friends. And Athena banned out. We saw how powerful the Athena Isis combo was. A Fnatic played that comp perfectly, but sadly still lost the set. You can check that out in the last video. Soul picked up EnVyUs. This is a flex pick. We really see it a lot out of Cyclone Spin, but at the same time, it could also go to MLC Stealth, who is in the mid lane this time. Ho Yi. This Ho Yi is going to go to Barracuda, most likely, unless we see like some jank stuff, but I don't know if Barracuda is necessarily known like for playing the Ho Yi. Okay, now Anister definitely loves his Thor, right? And so that is probably where we're gonna see him play. Let's see. So the second pick for Team EnVyUs is gonna be Bologna. Omega. This is probably his best character. Omega literally tears through teams. Not to mention Bologna's a good character. Omega is definitely a good player, so it's interesting to combine those. Zeus. So this is gonna go to Stealth in the mid lane, more than likely. I don't think we'll see like a Zeus Hunter. I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. We'll see what like a Zapman would do. I don't know, but Zeus gonna be locked in for Stealth. And let's see the final pick for pick one, Bacchus. Okay, the Bacchus is probably just a counter pick for Zeus. They're gonna have the and the Soul, quite frankly. Bacchus' job is going to be to dive the backline mages, right? The backline mages are going to do a lot of damage, and, Bacchus' job is honestly just going to be to shut them down. Odin is going to be banned out by Luminosity. I'm not sure why. I guess they don't want to combo, like, the Zeus ult on top of the Odin ult, so that's understandable. Raijin getting banned. I don't see Raijin being a pick for Boosh anyway. And Raijin hasn't done very well in the Pro League, but he does pretty good in casuals. Neja banned out. Yeah, we don't see a jungler yet for EnVyUs. I don't know if Mask has a particularly good Neja. I would have banned out Kali more than Neja, but that's just me. Team EnVyUs, their final win is gonna be Kronos. Kronos, we've seen is very good. Lassus is probably the best character. Lassus is probably the best player. When it comes to that gun, obviously he's not here, but trust me, like if you watch him play, then you'll definitely see how good Kronos is. And the first pick in phase 2 is gonna be Poseidon. For you, I'd look to see a lot of. I'd want to see a lot of combos. So, for example, Thor ult stun, Poseidon, Kraken, Bacchus, a belly flop, Poseidon, Kraken, Kali. See, I told you Mess was gonna bring out this Kali. I would have banned Kali. We'll see whether or not Kali ends up being what will end Luminosity here. Geb, that's a solid pickup. Geb is gonna help Kali dive even more. Not to mention that he'll also help. He'll also help them not get killed by Bacchus as well. So I think that was a very good pick. Kiki so cheeky. I think he really likes Skeb. So Amaterasu. So Luminosity picks up Amaterasu. I believe Snoopy is their solo laner now. He's the former hunter for TSM, and I think he played mid for TSM at one point. But now he found himself solo lane. But Amaterasu really good in team fights. He's probably gonna lose lane to Omega's gonna win lane, but I think the team fighting might go to Snoopy. So there's an awkward staring contest here. I think Luminosity wanted to do a 5-man invade. I don't think that works, unfortunately. You're just gonna see Kiki back. He probably warded. I didn't check his inventory, but I'm sure he warded. So this is pretty standard. Yeah, there's so much for me to talk about during this. I guess starts. You don't see the throwing dagger out of Barracuda. I guess he just wants Transcendence ability damage over the overpowered wave clear that he's throwing dagger, and obviously Soul can't build throwing dagger. But everything's pretty standard. Oh, interesting. The Zeus is gonna go into Celestial Legion helm. Yeah, I guess that's to go against the Thor, because stealth is probably predicting Thor dunks. And that's the only thing really interesting that stands out to me. Or anything different. Oh, it's important to note also, Cloud9 obviously won Worlds in Season 1, and I believe all 5 of those players are playing in this match, but they're obviously not Cloud9 anymore. Like, Omega was the solo laner for that squad. LC Stealth was actually the mid laner for that squad. And then over on Luminosity, Anator was jungler, Hinla was support, and Barracuda was actually the hunter. So, this is kind of a matchup of, old friends. But it's important to that they still always say that they're friends to this day, so that's great. Especially with Barracuda's brother and all that. Omega is obviously winning lane against Snoopy. I kind of called that. Like we said, Zashu had a hard time clearing the wave early as a Amaterasu, and it looks like we're seeing the same thing out of Snoopy. Omega, I think, tried to steal the boar, but yeah, so that's something that you'll see a lot out of Omega, is that Omega likes to be in the enemy jungle and basically, steal all of the things that there are to steal. So what'll be interesting is whether or not that Luminosity rotates to defend their jungle over here, as Omega is actually showing you the power of Fadestol Bologna, the AoE base attacks, put in work as he gets his back boar here. I don't know why we're following Omega if he's just gonna do a boar. Like, there has to be more interesting things. Come on, high res. Okay, I'm sure the real casters are probably talking about his playstyle or something that's boring. Snoopy, I don't know what Snoopy did. Did Snoopy? No, I don't even think he backed. I don't think he did blue buff. Blue buff's still down. He didn't get his boar out. Did he just randomly walk in the jungle? I don't know. Omega also really likes to control the fire elementals. Although that they don't give you much, it's better than nothing, I suppose. As Hyros really likes solo lane, apparently. Thank you. Here you go, mid lane. That's stealth. Finish off the mid lane creeps. We haven't really seen much. Interesting to see a warrior tab by Adekali. I typically would go Ninja Tap on Kali. I feel as if the attack speed is really helpful because that she doesn't have many abilities like that scale well with power, but at the same time she's also gonna build a lot of attack speed anyway. So then again, like that could be just wasted attack speed. Oh no, it's a tough call. I think it's personal preference really. But you don't. But everything else is pretty obvious stuff here. As Luminosity picks up the left-hand harpies, as I believe the right-hand harpies are going to go to EnVyUs. Unless Anastar, this is his god. And he's going to go for the closer target, and Kali beats down. That means that Kali is going to be the next target. And hopefully Kali does have her ult, so she might put her ult out next time that she's aggressed on, because trust me, she'll be aggressed on. As they're just trying to get as much gold as they can from the tower, and stealth and masked. Okay, like I'm not getting, like I'm used to seeing Weekend as a jungler, and it's throwing me off that it's masked. So I might say Weekend once or twice this game, and I'm sorry about that in advance. As Cyclone Spin just his back harpies. There has to be something more interesting than these back harpies, or not harpies. I'm too used to them being back bars. Like, show me something else, please. Okay, like I said, I don't control the camera. This is actually straight from the high-res feed thingy. In fact, you're watching the high-res feed thingy still. Cyclone Spin. Yeah, we're just gonna follow along Cyclone Spin, just like we did with Omega over there. Okay, back to mid lane. Interesting how they're following Envy more than Luminosity. I feel like Envy is the favorite coming into this, considering how Luminosity looked against enemy. And we'll see stealth. He finishes Celestial Legion home, right? Power, physical defense, penetration, very good. And you'll see the gold boots. Do you know? They're called traveler shoes, right? I don't remember, but I think they're called traveler shoes. But I just know, or the traveler shoes might be the physical version. Not too sure, but no, traveler shoes are the magical. I just googled it. God bless. I don't really buy these boots typically. I typically go CDR boots, considering how hard it is to build CDR in Season 3. I feel like CDR attributes itself well to a lot of Guardians, as I didn't miss much Googling apparently. Interesting to see Omega. I mean, like that could be a wing blade out of Omega, actually. He decided not to finish breastplate and go straight into a different item. We assume wing blade, or it could be a witch blade, but I doubt it. As Kiki so cheeky gets a bunch of ults piled on him, but Mast picks up the kill on Jeff Hinlaw, as that was a lot of ults used, as you can see on the sides here. And they know Mast's speeds are down, but unfortunately, Anastar misses it. That was a miscommunication by EnVyUs, but it turned out okay for them. I think it was a miscommunication from both teams. The teams were like split up, and what that fight was kind of two fights, like a within one scenario. And the Zeus ult put in a lot of damage onto Jeff, and that was enough, along with a Mask's fury of basic attacks. As you'll just see the boxing battle over here. I don't think we'll see a kill, considering that both solo laners have silver breastplate complete. So I don't think you'll see very much kill potential over here, as like Omega's doing the back war, as Snoopy Snoopy should do okay in terms of clearing the way. Once you get like 3 or 4 points into your 2, then you do okay clearing the wave, which is about like level 7 or 8. But until then, it's very difficult, and you just have to let gold fall to the tower, or else you're gonna lose your life. So that is what Snoopy decided to do, and here we are. As Mast is most likely rushing Chins, and we're seeing a Dumorb on each side. Cyclone Spin picks up Dumorb along with the Boosh picks up Dumorb. As Breastplate is finished for the Amaterasu. Barracuda comes out with the attack speed bits. You commonly see Warrior Tabi out of Hou-Yi for the sake of that the Ricochet would actually do a lot more damage, but at the same time attack speed is also good because basically like if you have someone marked and you can land more basic attacks on them, then it's gonna do more damage, obviously. As you're most likely gonna see a Hide the Urchin out of both sports. This is a common thing we've seen out of North American supports. They really like Hide the Urchin, as it's definitely a good item. But I usually don't get it because sometimes you just can't trust your team to get kills, I guess. I mean, Hide the Urchin is not that good from behind, according to most people. Because it's more expensive than, some other items. But it does give you quite a lot, so that's why it might cost a lot. As looks like Snoopy is pulling an Omega and stealing blue buff. Omega is basically having his own game played against him as Stealth. Oh, it looks like Stealth's gonna fall to Zeus ult. Did Snoopy get the what? The mirror reflection snipe as the Boosh picks up Mask with the Whirlpool, as it looks like the full stacked Doom Orb does quite a lot of damage, and Cyclone Spin is trying to defend the red buff and gets forced out, as it's a 4v1 pretty much, as Kiki can pretty much just to sit by and watch, and then they ejects the red buff, notices, well, lost that one, and looks like the word was placed by Cyclone Spin, as maybe they're hoping to prevent future invades like that. As Stealth is gonna try to recover from that death, and like I said, solo lane OP. Just look at this. Omega and Snoopy are both level 14. Omega doesn't even have a kill or anything. Like it's legit. Just the fact he's solo lane is why he's level 14. So we're gonna follow along with Omega again, as Mask and Omega are gonna split the fire elementals. As Snoop. Oh, come on! I thought they were gonna go back to Snoopy. Kiki and Normalcy Stealth are in the mid lane now. Kiki is gonna back. Finish Hide the Urchin. I didn't see how much gold he had. No. Oh, he's not going to Hide the Urchin. Oh, we're going in double spirit row. Double spirit row. Wow, I was wrong. I believe we saw Hide the Urchin last time. Maybe this is a new thing. I don't know. I expected double Hide the Urchin, but you always get some prizes out of these. Pro players. So, how about we talk about Spirit Robe then? Spirit Robe, it gives you CDI, crowd control reduction, and then it gives you the 35 HP protection or 30 HP protection. So it does well. The cooldown will work for Kiki very well, along with Bacchus. Bacchus basically then can just spam the belly flops, and Kiki can spam shields, and it's great. As there's a 3v3 in mid lane, this is a lot what you expect at this point. You expect it's kind of a 1v1 that's on both sides, and then a 3v3 in the middle, as we're seeing what could be a Fatalis out of Boosh? What? Okay, so you see Fatalis a lot on Poseidons, but I don't really see them bought that early, as apparently Omega did not elect to go in breastplate. Omega instead elected into Hide of Nemean Lion as to reduce attack speed. I guess Barracuda, Boosh, Anaster's probably not going to feel much attack speed. Maybe Snoopy, but yeah, I don't know. Questionable. I think the CDR would be really nice, so that way that he can dive the Boosh, as considering the fact that Boosh doesn't really have a hard escape. And I don't know. I feel like breastplate would tribute tough well. Granted, a lot of people say breastplate's really good, but I guess they're the pro players after all. Granted, it's important to note, right? Like that you don't use the same build every single round, right? Like a lot of people have saved builds or whatever, right? But then what they do is basically that they use that build like every single game, right? And it doesn't really change. And building like that, you're not gonna do very well. You know, like that you have to fit your build around the game circumstances, right? As we see Luminosity sneak a Gold Fury, as it looked like the Sentry Ward took out EnVyUs' vision, and basically the lack of vision meant that there was going to be no retaliation. As Stealth hide behind the wall for whatever reason, he could be predicting another invade like we saw previously. But no, I don't think Boosh is going to invade. Boosh is just going to back. Boosh might be finishing Fatalis. Yeah, that's most likely going to be a Fatalis. Yep, Fatalis. There you go. Okay. So, Boosh's Poseidon build. It's a lot of Pen. Doomwarp is going to contribute a lot of power. Well, Pen is coming from the Magi. Choose. And then a lot of power is going to come out from Doomwarp. And then Fatalis is to supplement the damage, as well as he will be able to escape better from a mask. As looks like both supports are going to go into magical defense. That's something you would expect. It's most likely going to be able to work on both sides, unless of course they decide to go pestilence. But there's not much. Actually, you might see Kiki go pestilence to stop some of the healing from Snoopy. So, if I were you, I would look for that. Mainly, we're going to see a Fatalis out of Kali. That's expected. Kali really needs to be able to stick to targets and just keep hitting the autos. As we might see a Chins coming out of Bara. Considering that you see Omega building a lot of physical defense, as well as Kiki is also going to elect a lot of physical defense. So, being able to do true damage will do quite well. Seeing a lot of Spirit Rub this game. There's 3 Spirit Rubs, as looks like Snoopy picked up Spirit Rub on his Amaterasu. And we could see, this could be a Spirit Rub out of Omega, but at the same time, you could also see not Click of Unrealing. Sorry, that's the old name. Mental Discord. There you go. Both give him CDR, which something tells me he's building CDR to make up for the fact that he didn't get CDR. Because he didn't get breastplate, right? I feel like a lot of people will basically not sacrifice, but what they'll do is basically, like, for example, look that they will delay a certain stat, which is probably what Omega did. Omega delayed CDR. He probably thought that he didn't really need it, right? As the mana buff does actually give you a 10% CDR, right? So obviously he's currently rocking 10% CDR, but what he figured was that since he is securing so many blue buffs, he figured that he could have delayed CDR, as looks like Luminosity picked up the tier 1 tower in mid, along with EnVyUs picked up the tier 1 tower on the right hand side, as looks like we're going to go back to our 1v1, or like our 2 1v1s and our 3v3, as Luminosity, the Gold Fury is about to respawn in about 30 seconds. You could see Luminosity try to sneak another one, as or no, they're trying to aggress onto the tier 1 tower. It looks like they could go tower and then maybe get some kills here and then go for Gold Fury, as you're gonna see Omega teleporting in. He has Spirit Robe finished out, which means, and plus blue buff, so he's gonna have, if I would imagine, about 20% CDR. So you might see, and his ultimate is up. So Omega is currently leashing the Gold Fury. Okay, looks like he's leashing Gold Fury, but apparently decides against it, as Jeff Hinla wants to initiate onto Omega. Barracuda does land his stun, but it doesn't do much to Omega, as could be, a lot of mage ults, a lot of ults used, big circles everywhere, and that is a dead Boosh, as it looks like the Zeus ult did quite a lot of damage, as looks like EnVyUs set themselves up for the Gold Fury, as it looks like Jeff Hinla was forced out along Barracuda. They were definitely forced out here. Barracuda is trying to stop Omega from doing the Gold Fury. Snoopy also gets onto Omega. Annoster dives the backline along with Jeff Hinla. Jeff Hinla also diving the backline. Mask is forced to ult. Annoster decides not to chase Mask. This might be a dead MLC stealth. Now he's able to get away, as Barracuda misses the ricochet, as it looks like Luminosity, and they try to take tier 1 tower. Jeff Hinla started tanking it, but it looked like that they feared the high amount of magical damage coming out, as you're going to see a lot of people backing to base. You're going to see an Obsidian Shard out of Boosh. That's some needed pen in its percentage, which will do well against the tanks, obviously, as you're going to see even more magical defense. So he finished a Bulwark of Hope, which is obviously what we expected, but then he's going into even more of it. So you're most likely going to see a Pestilence here. Maybe the Pestilence is to counter the healing on Cyclone Spin, along with Mask is probably going to build into Lifesteal as well, and maybe that's what they're going for, as Jeff Hinla is trying to harass Cyclone Spin, and Cyclone Spin is trying to get back Harpies. Cyclone Spin is going to most likely have to defend his tier 1 tower once more, and it's at like 20 health. I don't think he's going to be able to defend it, as looked like how Yi took it out. And Annoster looks like he's got forced to ult. Mask is doing quite a lot of damage. Annoster just comes back down. Like Envy could have aggressed on that, but I feel like they expected a Luminosity to be coming, which, trust me, they were. As Omega is trying to dive the Boosh, you'll see his ult, and Omega is actually forced out by the Tidal Surge, and Stealth is trying to get a lot of damage on Barracuda. Mass is also trying to get a lot of damage on Barracuda, as Annoster's ult is still down, which Annoster is really their main Gold Fury defense mechanism. I mean, Jeff Hinla could steal it with the ult, but I would rather have Thor than Bacchus fighting. And looks like Zeus ult put in work yet again. Zeus ult might be able to. Nope. Zeus ult. I thought I was gonna finish Boosh. Snoopy. This looks like he's running the wrong way. Never mind, he's not. Anister's right there. So it looks like Mask fell along with Jeff Hinlock. So far, this is a 1-for-1, but this could be a very long engagement. As Anister also unable to see stealth. That was a great ult, and it looks like there were no actives left, as Kiki just didn't stand near his team correctly, if you ask me. He just kind of watched, as it looks like Omega doesn't get that he should not be there, as it looked like he tried to just salvage one kill despite the fact he was getting 1v3'd, and looks like Luminosity Gaming will most likely extend their gold lead. They currently lead by about 4,000. It'll be much more unless Cyclone Spin can get a Supernova or a Stellar Burst Steel Healer. Come on, Cyclone. Cyclone! No! Just being aggressed. Oh! And it looks like Barracuda and Anister finished off Cyclone Spin. Snoopy, and Jeff finished the Gold Fury. It looks like Cyclone Spin didn't even have his ult. Granted, he could have used it defensively. No! Cyclone Spin didn't even have his ult. I don't even know why he went in there. If I were Cyclone Spin, I wouldn't have gone in unless I had my ult. Really. Not to mention that you watch him use his 3 to get in, which just meant that even if he stole the Gold Fury, like, he would have guaranteed to died. So in my opinion, that was a questionable call. You're gonna see a Titan's Bane out of the Hou-Yi played by Barracuda. It'll be interesting what the final item is. It could be some crit, who knows? As Barracuda finishes Midgardian Mail. That's good, considering the fact that you're seeing a lot of basic attack damage. Bellona obviously wants to do damage with her basic attacks, as like that she picks up Frostbite Hammer, and obviously, you know, like Masked could obviously do that as well. And obviously Soul is just a little unstable, and yes, the Pestilence is in fact coming out for the Boosh. I don't even remember what the third item is in that tree, but like no one builds it, so it's probably not good. Am I right, boys? MLC Stealth with the great Aegis, but it might not be enough as 3. Oh, it will be enough. As apparently that the Zeus ult zoned out 3 people. That was actually a great job by Stealth. The positioning for him, like, he wasn't really positioned well, but at the same time that he was able to bail himself out. As Thor is also building anti-heal, so they really don't like Cyclone Spin's healing. They're just not a fan. Okay. Wow. So we might also see a Brawlers out of Barra, actually, considering how dedicated they seem to be to anti-healing. Or we could see some anti-healing out of box as well. Maybe pick up a second Pestilence. As, do they have any curses? No, they don't have any curses. So maybe they're making up for their lack of curses with instead by eating anti-heal items. As Kiki is right on a ward, I don't think he realizes that, but I think Luminosity are gonna try to go for this tier 2 tower. EnVyUs knows they have to defend it because, you know, 1,500 gold is quite a lot. Are they gonna go for left hand side instead? I don't think they know. I don't know what EnVyUs is doing. Like Luminosity definitely seem to be committing to left, but you don't see the proper positioning by enemy. I'd like to see them like go around the back and try to defend the tower, but I don't know. And it looks like, yeah, I feel like Luminosity is just trying to bait them all over the place, right? So they started looking like they were gonna go for center tower, and what they went over to the left, and then they went over to center again. So I feel like they're trying to be, trying to be as unpredictable as possible. As it looks like that they successfully defended both towers, but Barracuda is pressuring. Barracuda is doing pretty good tower damage. Titan's Bane, a lot of penetration. Penetration does very well against towers, and looks like Jeff Henley's just gonna tank it and Snoopy's able to finish it off. 1500 gold on the side. See, even more physical defense coming out of Omega. So definitely Barracuda's Titan's Bane was actually a very good pickup in that regard. Not to mention the Titan's Bane is going to do well against the tanky Zeus we're seeing here. You saw the tanky Zeus played by the best actually, but apparently Stealth isn't having the best of times apparently, as Mast was forced to ult. Answer's going to get turned on here as the Geb shield. That was actually a great Geb shield by Kiki, but it looks like his Geb shield's going to be down for this fight for now. The Geb shield up in 3 seconds, but I don't think he'll need it, as looks like Luminosity's backing up for tier 2. They realized that their primary initiation is gone, so they're best off not not fighting. Go for respawn just now, as there's no wards on it. Envy just warded, which means okay, Envy's gonna start it, but Bara knows. But do they know about Bara? That's yeah. Kiki definitely sees Bara, but yeah, you're gonna see zone out by Omega, but Bara. Oh, gosh. Okay. Jeff Finland's gonna try to defend his. He's gonna try to defend his hunter, as it looks like Snoopy is gonna pick up Mask again on the back line. Looks like Mask stayed too long, trying to kill Bara, and apparently didn't pick up the kill onto Bara, and then got punished for it. As it looks like Luminosity now is going for the Gold Fury instead of EnVyUs, as they have a lot of big stack damage and just damage, and there's no one nearby to defend, as I don't know, the Sentry Ward from Luminosity. That Sentry Ward cleared out the vision. You always want to have Sentry Wards, always. Like there's no excuse to not buy Sentry Wards. Like there's actually none, because what you're doing is that you're preventing the other team like from doing Gold Fury and Fire Giant, etc. So you're gonna see a lot of backs. Barracuda is gonna build into Crusher. He's gonna be doing a lot of tower damage, which is interesting because they have all the towers on the left hand side. So they're gonna want to aggress on either the center or right hand side most likely before going to Phoenixes. As for me right now, the player who's really struggling is Stealth, right? So Stealth built into a lot of defense, right? And right now we're looking at player damage, and Stealth doing a lot of damage, despite the fact he's building defense. But I feel like the amount of physical penetration, yeah, like they're hovering over it right now, right? Like Runic Shield, Void Shield, Titan's Bane. I feel like they're really gunning for Stealth. You know, not to mention Omega, right? But what they want to do is they want to shred all the physical protections on the side of EnVyUs, and they're gonna make it to where basically Barracuda, Snoopy, and Anister are gonna be doing true damage, damn near true damage. It looks like Luminosity is setting up for Fire Giant. Maybe they're just trying to bait Kiki. Yeah, I think they're definitely trying to bait Kiki. They wanted to bait Kiki into checking the Fire Giant and then maybe turn a kill on him, but they weren't able to do that, unfortunately, as they're going for the fire elementals, and they're going to try to do the same thing to Omega. Yeah, they're not even going to do the Fire Giant. They're just going to try to bait, as Omega is forced to ult, and that's the end of that fight. Bury me not. Mask is trying to go in against Snoopy. I wouldn't take that pick if I were you, as Snoopy is very low health because of stealth damage. You know, he has a lot of pen. He's gonna tear through the magical protections. I mean, I will admit, it's interesting. Game paused by Snoopy. What? Snoopy! Dang it, dude! I should have. Okay, you know what? They're gonna talk about this. Game paused. Okay, this is. Okay, I will admit, This was not planned. Okay, I'm gonna fast forward like 30s. Okay. So I want you to fast forward to 41:34. Okay. So that's where I'm at right now. I'll give you like 5 seconds to get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're gonna go. Looks like we're back into a team fight as they're gonna try to pick off Kiki. As Kiki looked to see whether or not they're going to do the fire giant, and that's gonna be a lot of ults committed onto him. And also, Zeus is gonna do quite a lot of damage to LG as Snoopy is being forced out. Snoopy's forced to ult, and Mask got way too greedy there. As to me, like Envy doesn't have any communication. Look that they're playing as if they're playing ranked. I think right now, I think this is a lot of lack of communication. Basically thinking that they can like 1v1 like everyone, but honestly, SPL individual skill doesn't matter as much as you think. As it looks like 4 kills will be enough for Luminosity to secure Fire Giant, and it looks like this will be the end of the game unless we could see a very long defense out of EnVyUs. So I think the main thing here, because obviously we were talking about like a main thing every video, right? I think the main thing for this is, let's just say that EnVyUs didn't really act as one unit. They seem to be 5 individual players who kind of just happen to be on the same team. It's kind of like ranked. That's what it seemed like to me. I mean, I think the rest of how EnVyUs played was good. Like, for example, the builds I think are okay on EnVyUs, right? I just think it was just like the way that they're working as a team right now. It's not what you expect from a pro league team. Granted, it could be because obviously Mask is new, but obviously these 4 players have been playing for a while during the off season and such. But I will admit, a lot of people did not expect this. As I will tell you, Luminosity does in fact take both games, and it's a similar fashion. EnVyUs, actually, I guess I just spoiled this game, but it's pretty much over. There's like 15k gold lead, Fire Giant. It should be pretty obvious by now, but we're still going to analyze the rest of this, the defense and such. But you know, the second game too, that they also played similarly in terms of playing it like ranked and not really as a team, right? Everyone has to be on the same page. Everyone has to know that like who's being targeted. For example, Luminosity, basically the call was kill Kiki, kill Kiki, kill Kiki, right? Everybody aggressed on a Kiki. Kiki died, and looks like Mask wanted to get something. And to me, like what Mask just did seemed a lot like something that you would see in ranked. Okay, like people in ranked are pretty egotistical, right? Like that's mainly why you don't see some people play ranked, because they don't like to deal with like the ego and the like people being super like stupid in terms of like fighting 1v3s and such. But I don't think Mask should have been in that far. I think Mask should have been with his team, should have healed back to base, but unfortunately Mask didn't do that, and looks like they're going to be without Mask while defending the right hand Phoenix. And Jeff Hinlaw is just trying to force them out. As Barracuda's forced out. Cyclone Spin will fall as Snoopy and Kiki and Omega. Oh, Omega with the wait, is that a 4-man? Is that a 4-man Roma Invicta or whatever it's called? I don't even know what the build is called. I just call that shit Roma Invicta. I think it's called like Eagles Rally or something. I don't know. But as it looks like Anister went to go say hi to Stealth. As it looks like the two defense items didn't do very much against, Thor, who, quite frankly, built 4 freaking penetration items. Like 4 penetration items is going to make the 2 physical defense items useless. So like 4 penetration is more than 2 physical. Like that's what you're learning here today. This is math. 4 better than 2. Okay. As looks Anister's gonna try even more now to kill MLC Stealth, as it looks like he picked up Bulwark of Hope, which just means the Stealth's not gonna do enough damage at all to kill him. And we're gonna see maybe a stone cutting sword. Well, right now it's 1,000-fold blade, but it could be a stone cutting sword. Out of masked. So builds elsewhere. He's finally building into more damage. Is Stealth, Soul Reaver, Obsidian Shard, pretty standard. Lots of defense, or damage. Lots of damage. Boosh rocking all damage build plus Fatalis. Interesting, but it's doing pretty well. It's called 3-3. And what did Bacchus Mental Discord. Apparently Mental Discord is valued more by Jeff than Kiki, as Kiki elected to go into a Wing Blade instead of Mental Discord. As Luminosity has the 2 Phoenixes down on the center and left. They're about to respawn, but they're pretty easy to kill. Like after the first time you kill them. But the last one here is gonna be on the right hand side, as the Geb Cataclysm might have saved the life of Masked, but it looks like we're on board with Boosh here. I don't really like this angle, but Barracuda kills Stealth, and the Boosh did a lot of damage to the Geb, as Mask did the same play he did earlier, pretty much. He tried to kill 1v3. Is that gonna be dude, I thought Boosh was gonna snipe. As minions are pouring in from 3 sides, you see all the fire archers on your screen, as it looks like Luminosity is gonna take this with minions, and Whirlpool was good as well. And there wasn't much you could do, because, it's pretty hard to defend against 3 waves of fire minions. As I'm gonna do my post game stuff now. Let's look post game stuff. Okay, builds and such. It's pretty standard builds on all sides. I was kind of interested to see what exactly Mask was gonna go into with that final item. I'd imagine a stone cutting sword, but you never know. There's not much interesting with builds. I pretty much covered builds quite a lot. But basically, what you saw a lot of was Luminosity got more Gold Furies, quite a lot. And they had one Fire Giant, but EnVyUs 0. That was better warding on their part, really. As well as the fact that EnVyUs didn't really seem coordinated as a unit or as a team. And I think because of that, the fights were only 5v5. The fights were kind of like a 5v2. And then pretty much having, 2 or 3 people not in the position to fight. So that's unfortunate. I think this is EnVyUs' first loss in the Pro League. This split, Luminosity picks up their first win, as they lost to Enemy in their first week. But I think this is going to be the return of Luminosity. EnVyUs fell a little bit, according to most people, which I can see why. But we'll see whether or not Luminosity can continue to rise, or whether or not it's just a one-time thing, or basically the only reason that they did well was honestly, because EnVyUs has played well, or didn't play well. So we'll see whether or not it's just gonna be a one-time thing, or if it's gonna be like a lasting upward trend, as it looks like Luminosity won by over 20k gold. So yeah, I would like to thank all of you guys for watching. I know this is 50 minutes. It's pretty annoying to watch it all, I guess, but I'd like to thank you for watching. Sorry for all the random sounds and stuff. These are gonna get better, I hope, and I'll see you all next time.